with the nation to stop the killing. The words of President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shelter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray-Burke. On this report.
Too much shooting, too much deaths, too much death. I'm pleading with the nation to stop the killing. Stop the killing. We have it nice now. Why the children only killing? No man, it does hurt me.
President of the Council of Elders, a Spiritual Shelter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray-Burke, said that the crime situation in this country is worrisome.
No, I am pleading with the nation to stop the killing. The words of President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shelter Baptist Faith, Barbara Gray-Burke. On this report.
Too much shooting, too much deaths, too much death. I'm pleading with the nation. Stop the killing. We have it nice now. Why the children only killing? No man, it does hurt me.
President of the Council of Elders, a Spiritual Shelter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray-Burke, said that the crime situation in this country is worrisome. Speaking in an inclusive interview with TTT News, Archbishop Burke said she's pleading with the nation's youth to stay on the right track.
I would like to ask the brethren of the faith to stand firm, hold the cross leading, speak to the children, too much crime, Trinidad coming like Haiti, but hold that flag, don't let our national flag bend to the ground, hold it up, prop it up, because we are in Trinidad and in Tobago. The children do not go to church in my time. Every Sunday I go up in the Catholic church, carry the children, let them know about the fear of the Lord. And if we carry our children to church, and our children will be better trained.
Archbishop Burke said she will continue.
News now. I am pleading with the nation to stop the killing. The words of President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shelter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray-Burke. On this report.
Too much shooting, too much deaths, too much death. I'm pleading with the nation to stop the killing. Stop the killing. We have it nice now. Why the children only killing? No man, it does hurt me.
President of the Council of Elders, a Spiritual Shelter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray-Burke, said that the crime situation in this country is worrisome. Speaking in an inclusive interview with TTT News, Archbishop Burke said she's pleading with the nation's youth to stay on the right track.
I would like to ask the brethren of the faith to stand firm, hold the cross leading, speak to the children, too much crime, Trinidad coming like Haiti, but hold that flag, don't let our national flag bend to the ground, hold it up, prop it up, because we are in Trinidad and in Tobago.
She's also appealing to parents to take their children to church.
There are a lot of parents. The children do not go to church in my time. Every Sunday I go up in the Catholic church, carry the children, let them know about the fear of the Lord. And if we carry our children to church, and our children will be better trained.
Archbishop Burke said she will continue to do her part by praying for the children of Trinidad and
Otherwise, later on in life, you gon' catch real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. It's a treasure, yes, a treasure beyond any measure.
Yes, indeed, of course. Thank you for your patience and tolerance, but I think things are a little better now. And of course, the fundamental and substantive subject that I wanted to address tonight, I think I better go straight into it one time. I have already, of course, indicated that the Rowley administration is bad news. It is toxic. It has, of course, been fashioned and coined and trained and, of course, also designed to be evil to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore it is the existential and modern threat to the society called Trinidad and Tobago. So, of course, I thought it was a first go straight. Of course, I have a document in front of me, of course, entitled, of course, Invitation to Visit a Tour East Port of Spain. And you would want to know why, of course, that is so, and why, of course, I am playing that particular tune. Because it is about education. It is about the great liberalizer, the great freedom element, component of human existence. And it doesn't matter whether it is academic or what is called vocational or physical. It doesn't matter. The fact is that liberalizes as well as provides in a modern society one with the opportunity, with the skills, the wherewithal to survive in that society, particularly where we have an economic system that speaks of the individual can get filthy rich as much as he or she can once, of course, they work for it. Whether you call it a capitalist system or you call it a laissez-faire system, the fact of the matter is that it is one that says if you realize you can realize your full potential, and if you so do, you should be, of course, be the beneficiary of your hard work. And it applies to school children in school, whether at the kindergarten level, at the primary school level, at the early childhood center level, as they like to call it these days, or at the tertiary level, and any other area, whether, as I said, vocational or academically oriented. The fact of the matter is that all of us must eat, drink, recreate, and of course, must be sheltered, must have a home. And so I am directing, of course, this segment to the youths of the East-West corridor in particular. And if you have to be more microscopic or more granular, then East Port will beat them Sealats, where, of course, the ground report will set up its center. And let me tell you what's the name of it. You have it here in this document. It is called, of course, the MLS Resource Center. MLS Resource Center. The M refers to MLIO, the Mobile Lavantil Improvement Organization. The L refers, of course, to the Lavantil for Lavantilians Initiative. And the S refers to the Shouter Baptist Learning Institute. Well, of course, the Resource Center is a place where, of course, not just human, but other capacity building initiatives takes place. So it is encompassing and very, what I consider to be elastic and flexible.
News now. I am pleading with the nation to stop the killing. The words of President of the Council of Elders Spiritual Shouter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke. More in this report.
Too much shooting, too much deaths, too much death. I'm pleading with the nation to stop the killing. Stop the killing. We have it nice now. Why the children only killing? No, man. It has hurt me.
President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shouter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke, said that the crime situation in this country is worrisome. Speaking in an inclusive interview with TTT News, Archbishop Burke said she's pleading with the nation's youth to stay on the right track.
I would like to ask the brethren of the faith to stand firm, hold the cross leading, speak to the children, too much crime, Trinidad coming like Haiti, but hold that flag, don't let our national flag bend to the ground, hold it up, prop it up, because we are in Trinidad and in Tobago.
She's also appealing to parents to take their children to church.
There are a lot of parents. The children do not go time. Every Sunday I go up in the Catholic church, carry the children, let them know about the fear of the Lord.
As it tries to, of course, meet all of the needs and the likings and the gravitations and the aptitudes of every single human being that passes through that center. But in order to achieve that, as we did, of course, several years ago, where over 6,000 young persons graduated of the type. Because in order for you to enter MLIO, when we founded it back in 1984, you had to be either engaged or had the potential, according to the community, the parents and the leaders of the community, observing, of course, these young people and their actions, that have the potential to, of course, engage in crime or criminal activity. That if you have, with that, the ability, of course, to retain and to, of course, challenge the work that is being delivered, because on every occasion we make sure that you have a skill and then you have a sub-skill as well. But we do it in pairs. We give you a minor and a major. So if you like mechanic, for example, we may well tell you, listen, why not? We will give you a brief course in, of course, straightening and painting. If you like electrician, we will give you a brief as a minor subject in auto electronics or auto electrician course. Yes. So you have two skills. So you can always, one is, of course, saturated. You can't get work. You fall back on the other one. And I can tell you, it worked well. What you do not do, contrary to, of course, a person who, or an institution, or a government for that matter, doing the same thing that doesn't work over and over and expect a different result, are collective and independent and individual backsides, waste of time. Take it on board and, of course, initiate improvement. This is what this initiative is all about. It is not at the same size, so we cannot accommodate 200 and 300 students as we did at Fernandez compound in a huge warehouse, comparatively speaking. But we have room enough for about 50, and we will not call them students. We will not either call them, of course, children. We will call them, of course, clients. So we'll have about 50 clients because they are expected, of course, to do unorthodox things. And they will be exposed to unorthodox outside of the traditional run-of-the-mill programs that you would see being executed, let's say, at the Leventhal Technology and Continuing Education Center. Of course, I being the founding person of that facility, but the physical plant and not the curriculum or the program. Let me repeat. I'm the founding person. I identified that because it was called the Rumban before. It was burnt out. And I approached, and we call it then, of course, an inner city training. The more, what I consider the progressive aspect of the MLIO program. Look at behind you there, the Mobile Leventhal Improvement Organization, which I founded as well with others, of course, Mr. Ramsey and others who have now left us. But I remember them very distinctly. Archibald Lynch, and of course, others, Miss Rosie, all came together, and we saw the problem of those young people, as is the case today. And we, of course, decided to do something about it because they came to us and they told us some went to Serval, some went, of course, to the training camps that was available at the time. But when they come out, no work. And one of the areas that we focus on then, of course, is to set up employment bureau. An employment bureau, yes. For those persons who may either be attending the program or for the wider community. Yes, as we match, of course, labor needs by the business community across the board, and match, of course, skills that they may need or will need in order, of course, to make certain that we have true full employment, not the slipshod and the misinformed and misinformation that, of course, Rowley and Imbert will tell us we have 3% unemployment, but does not tell us that in that scenario, a substantial amount of persons are not looking for work, and that is not captured in the data or in the field work that would bring that conclusion. But they see it in a book and then say, the people say is 3% is not our words. Look, it's the CSO, and you're done with that. No. When you look behind the methodology, you would see that no census taker or nobody gathering the raw data will consider a person who is not looking for work because there is no work. They will not capture that person as a person unemployed. Strange, but that is reality. So Rowley and they haven't decided to fall by the wayside and don't look for work again. And so
I'm pleading with the nation to stop the killing. Stop the killing. We have it nice now. Why the children only killing? No, man. It has hurt me.
President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shouter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke, said that the crime situation in this country is worrisome. Speaking in an inclusive interview with TTT News, Archbishop Burke said she's pleading with the nation's youth to stay on the right track.
I would like to ask the brethren of the faith to stand firm, hold the cross leaning, speak to the children, too much crime, Trinidad coming like Haiti, but hold that flag. Don't let our national flag bend to the ground. Hold it up, prop it up, because we are in Trinidad and in Tobago.
She's also appealing to parents to take their children to church.
There are church in my time. Every Sunday I had to go up in the Catholic church, carry the church, and our children will be better trained.
Archbishop Burke said she will continue to do her part by praying for the children of Trinidad and Tobago.
A substantial amount of them, over 600,000 labor officers, Trinidad and Tobago's, of the 1.5 million that we are all susceptible to sharing this two pieces of real estate. I'm talking about Trinidad and Tobago. A substantial amount are not looking for work. And so you get a figure like that, skewed as it is. But Rowley and they, boldface and deceptive as they are looking for, of course, any opportunity for self-aggrandizement to suggest that somehow they did that and brought it to 3%. That is the ultimate, of course, benefit that they want to be derived, to stay there and do us evil and continue, of course, to frustrate people into not looking for work because they simply are not creating anything. So that facility is important, and it will be computerized, and it will be very practical, as we would have done under MLIO. Search the newspapers, search the internet, look for work both here in Trinidad and elsewhere in the Caribbean and across the globe as well, where, of course, it is merited and where, of course, we can meet the requirements. But basically, it will be Trinidad and Tobago. So I want to tell you that we have already gone to work, and we have a team of persons, I call it a think tank, that are looking at other areas. Well, of course, you know, you must have a computer center where, of course, people will come for computer services. You must also have, of course, a remedial cadre, or should I say, a cadre of remedial teachers. I myself will be teaching one or two subjects. I've not decided yet, but certainly one of them will be English. If someone else, of course, could do a job that, or is specialized in that area, and I have a skill that they are not specialized in, well, certainly I'll go to the skill that they are not specialized in, so we capitalize and utilize, of course, the teaching staff. Yes. So we call them clients, not students or children, or what they are called in the traditional training institutions. So once again, the MLS Resource Center, comprising of these three institutions, MLIO, LFL, and the Shouter Baptist Learning Institute. Yes, they have come together and will, of course, impact. Rowley and them can't think that far. Don't talk for Hines. His dreadlocks is too thin for him to think so thick. You know what I say? I say that his dreadlocks is too thin for him to think so thick. And yes, indeed. But the experience that the clients will get in their learning experience and interacting, of course, with this resource center are things that worked tremendously well when we had the MLIO on it, or at its peak. Yeah. Incidentally, the three organizations have come together because of the experience we would have had that when you approach government agencies, they see people who come from these communities and wanted to serve these communities as scamps in the first instance. So what we have done is built in a transparency mechanism. Three groups coming together, three entities, three institutions coming together will monitor each other. That is the essence. And we will project that out there so that Rowley and they can't say that Smith is a smart man or that one is a smart woman, as the case may be, because that is what they do. I have had numerous encounters with Hines, and he comes up with that notion only because he's a government official and only because he's connected to the PNM, and therefore a total indolent, want to get, of course, a shortcut way to fame, fortune, and fraternizing with the movers and shakers in the society. And then when people oppose them, like myself, they then cast you in a particular mold because others, let's face it, I have seen it. The things I heard about myself when I started off, of course, and get into, of course, the assistance program to these young people and focus. The very people who you're getting the assistance for, they will say all kinds of things. And that I consider to be par for the course, so that will not change the price of cocoa or coffee for me. That is like water on duck back. You see, just as how I call in Rowley a rapist and a pedophile every night, but what he does, he goes home and say, they could say what they want. I am sleeping in comfort, air conditioned, and I have police outside my door guarding me. And tomorrow I could say something, and and just saying it is policy, including, of course, increase in electricity and water rates, and they had to take that. That is how they're thinking. But a person like me, duck back a scenario does not mean that. Duck back means that not only are there people there who are inimical to the overall development of the target audience, those young people, they want us to become frustrated and do not make an intervention. And so the police could kill them out. And so, of course, the society could see them as non-humans. Yeah, that is how devious it is. One of those young men already told me what somebody who I consider to be serious. They told me what she said. I said, she, yes. But what I refuse to do is to tell them what she told me about them. And it's not nice. It's not nice. I said it's not nice. But that is what you have. You see, I am taking that as a microcosm as well to show what and why people will be targeting Kamala Prasad Bisesa as well. Weak. She has no toes. What? She not going out there and walking the streets and lead a march from somewhere to some part of other part of Trinidad. All that kind of nonsense. Without looking at the fact that if it was not for Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC, we would not have had elections, local government elections, August last year. We would be having it sometime this year if it was for Rowley and them alone. But because of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, that has been thwarted and has been frustrated. And Rowley and they are wiping and attempting, of course, to capture the narrative. But, of course, they can't be that. If it wasn't for Kamala Prasad Bisesa, we would not have known today that they were engaging in poaching of UNC people after they castigate UNC and say that they are thieves and they are, of course, people who cannot be trusted with the treasury and so on. But yet still, for local government elections, they were taking, of course, people from the UNC to be their own, to contest the local government elections on a PNM ticket. So you must know that you must rubbish and render as hogwash, putrid, and of course, cesspit material the nonsense that Rowley and they speak. And as I have done from time and time, and I will continue so to do, is to prove to you that no way what Rowley and they are saying about the UNC as far as corruption is concerned has no practical manifestations. There is no evidence, in other words, to prove that. And I always do it on the basis of mega projects, whether it be the velodrome, the cycling velodrome in Couva, whether it be the aquatic center in Couva, whether it be the hospital. Notice they are definitely silent on any corruption under the UNC. But by some kind of epiphany and some kind of plague, some kind of curse, every time they open them out, Rowley in particular, is something that he is projecting that the UNC did that has no basis in reality. And we just have to laugh at him now because he's trying to convince himself now rather than you and I. Since you and I are totally aware that the facts does not equate the illusion and delusion, cacophonous babblings, and ambulatory utterances of Dr. Rowley and his minions. They are desperate and having acknowledged that they have failed and know for a fact that they will not be returned, but the tremendous possibility that they will be in jail because the UNC has smarter and better lawyers than they have. And the test of the, or the taste of the pudding, the test, the litmus test has to be when you are in opposition and you are able to force a government to, one, call an election, local government election, having of course decided with a slim majority to postpone it. Two, make them, all of them, cowed. They ain't confess, but cowed to the Vincent Nelson matter, where of course Anand Ramlogan, after all that embarrassment, he and Ramdeen, the matters were withdrawn. The PNM agenda once again was not consistent with what is required, not just as a government, but with minimum decency, morality, and ethics. But equivalent, on the other hand, to criminal behavior and the criminalizing of course, the government and the cabinet of this country. Yes, indeed. That is what they have done. We see the same thing when they closed down Petrotrin. We saw the same thing when they devastated the sea bridge. We saw the same thing when they went, and Rowley continues, of course, to claim that he is the best salesman. Well, Rowley, if he's the best salesman, please stop. Please stop. You're only endangering Trinidad and Tobago. That salesman talk is like a toddler with a box of matches, with an open bucket of gasoline next door. Anything could play. Well, that is what has happened. Rowley is both the matches and the gasoline. And he has lit it on himself. Yes, he has lit it on himself. And therefore has committed political suicide by trying to take a narrative that has no basis in reality as if we are stupid, and that programs like these and the democratization through, of course, Facebook and YouTube and these various
with the nation to stop the killing. Stop the killing. We have it nice now. Why the children only killing? No, man. It has hurt me.
President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shouter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke, said that the crime situation in this country is worrisome. Speaking in an inclusive interview with TTT News, Archbishop Burke said she's pleading with the nation's youth to stay on the right track.
I would like to ask the brethren of the faith to stand firm, hold the cross leading. Speak to the children. Too much crime. Trinidad coming like Haiti. But hold that flag. Don't let our national flag bend to the ground. Hold it up, prop it up, because we are in Trinidad and in Tobago.
She's also appealing to parents to take their children to church.
There are a lot of parents. The children do not go to church in my time. Every Sunday I had to go up in the Catholic church, carry the children, let them know about the fear of the Lord. And if we carry our children to church, and our children will be better trained.
Archbishop Burke said she will continue to do her part by praying for the children of Trinidad and Tobago.
They told me what she said. I said, she, yes. But what I refuse to do is to tell them what she told me about them. And it's not nice. It's not nice. I said it's not nice. But that is what you have. You see, I am taking that as a microcosm, as Weiler. And we know now why in broad, narrow, and conclusive and convincing terms of who he really is. So I thought it was important, of course, to focus here because we need the assistance of those businessmen who have the test, the litmus test has to be when you are in opposition and you are able to force a government to, one, call an election, local government election, having, of course, decided with a slim majority to postpone it. Two, make them, all of them, cowed. They ain't confess, but cowed to the Vincent Nelson matter, where, of course, Anand Ramlogan, after all that embarrassment, he and Ramdeen, the matters were withdrawn. The PNM agenda, once again, was not consistent with what is required, not just as a government, but with minimum decency, morality, and ethics. But equivalent, on the other hand, to criminal behavior and the criminalizing of course, the government and the cabinet of this country. Yes, indeed. That is what they have done. We see the same thing when they closed down Petrotrin. We saw the same thing when they devastated the sea bridge. We saw the same thing when they went, and Rowley continues, of course, to claim that he is the best salesman. Well, Rowley, if he's the best salesman, please stop. Please stop. You're only endangering Trinidad and Tobago. That salesman talk is like a toddler with a box of matches, with an open bucket of gasoline next door. Anything could play. Well, that is what has happened. Rowley is both the matches and the gasoline. And he has lit it on himself. Yes, he has lit it on himself. And therefore has committed political suicide by trying to take a narrative that has no basis in reality as if we are stupid and that programs like these and the democratization through, of course, Facebook and YouTube and these various social network platforms will not be able, of course, to denounce. He believes, will not be able to denounce because he somehow believes it doesn't exist. Well, every night, Lennox Smith is here on the corridor transformation. Look at these achievements. You didn't know that before? Just as how nobody knew about Rowley and his past. But you can know now because of social media. When he came on the scene in 1970, when he hopped, of course, an NJAC platform and, of course, was opposed to the PNM and of course, Eric Williams. You didn't know that. You couldn't know. But today you know. And therefore you know that he's a blasted conman, a deceiver, and he's acting as a PNM incognito. Incognito, meaning that, of course, he's not what he says he is, but he is an exploiter and an opportunist, as he, of course, ridiculed and rendered a bastard, that dastard individual, his predecessor and leader of the PNM. I talk about Patrick Manning, who at least told us by confession, you know, they have this tendency to confess that Rowley was a raging bull and he was called the Rottweiler. And we know now why, in broad, narrow, and conclusive and convincing terms of who he really is. So I thought it was important, of course, to focus here because we need the assistance of those businessmen who have hardware, or if you can provide, of course, a check, and the check has to go in the name of the Shouter Baptist Learning Institute. We, of course, use that as our accounting for all three because of the nature of the business or the projects or the core operations, which is religious based. They're very active, of course, for the Baptist holiday. You will see them, of course, next month, not next month, next month, March, the end of March. And you will, and they will, of course, because of the religious slant, the likelihood that they will not, or should I put another way, they will oversee a more transparent and accountable financial operations of the MLS Resource Center that we will be establishing or in the process of establishing on George Street, Port of Spain, the belly of the beast. Belly of the beast. Yes, indeed. Lot of organization. So you understand why I was a bit tired tonight. And I did not, of course, reboot the system in order to avoid the static that you would have gotten. But, of course, I rebooted, having, of course, taken an interval in order so to do. Let me, of course, tell you that part of what we propose to do, and these invitations are already out because of the advisories against Trinidad and Tobago mentioning Nelson Street and the Queen's Park, Savannah, and Belmont and surrounding East Port of Spain. We thought we should do something about that immediately, being in the belly of the beast. No other community in Trinidad and Tobago has been mentioned, except recently, of course, St. Augustine. And we thought it was important to attach ourselves and deal with that problem one time. And this, of course, is an invitation to several ambassadors and several high commissioners and representatives, emissaries of governments that have embassies and high commissions in Trinidad to visit East Port of Spain and visit our facility. Start to work already. And this, of course, was dated, what, the 7th of this month. So we started already long time because we knew we had, of course, to get there and to treat with that matter, having regard to the office situation of the ground report. And I just want to read the introduction and maybe the entire letter. It's a 2-page letter, and let me just read it for you quickly. I'll put it up tomorrow night so you can read for yourself. And it says, His Excellency, and this one, of course, we have several others, but this one is to Miss Harriet Cross, British High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago. Yes.
Youth to stay on the right track.
I would like to ask the brethren of the faith to stand firm, hold the cross leading. Speak to the children, too much crime. Trinidad coming like Haiti. Stop the killing. Stop the killing. We have it nice now. Why the children only killing? No, man, it has hurt me.
President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shouter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke, said that the crime situation in this country is worrisome. Speaking in an inclusive interview with TTT News, Archbishop Burke said she's pleading with the nation's youth to stay on the right track.
I would like to ask the brethren of the faith to stand firm, hold the cross leading. Speak to the children, too much crime. Trinidad coming like Haiti. But hold that flag. Don't let our national flag bend to the ground. Hold it up, prop it up, because we are in Trinidad and in Tobago.
She's also appealing to parents to take their children to church.
There are a lot of parents. The children do not go to church in my time. Every Sunday I had to go up in the Catholic church, carry the children, let them know about the fear of the Lord. And if we carry our children to church, and our children will be better trained.
Archbishop Burke said she will continue to do her part by praying for the children of Trinidad and Tobago.
And you would have seen, let me just put up that one time, that we're not talking by guests, not like those Rowley, nincompoops, and of course, opportunists and the persons who are neophytes and don't know what they're doing. Let me just put up some more images so you get an appreciation as to what we are talking about. Because we did it already, you see. Experience is the best teacher, I always say. But look at this, for example, and you will have an appreciation. This fella that is there is the British High Commissioner past. And we invited him to the same East Port of Spain, and he is looking right now at students in the primary school. One of the primary schools in East Port of Spain. And we took him as well to the Southeast Secondary School as well. So it's not by accident, it's not by serendipity, it's not by ad hominem, it's not by chance, because we have the capacity and the wherewithal. Since we experience the best teacher, look again. You see on the right, the former Prime Minister Buffett of Grenada, as we expanded our wings under the MLIO banner at the time, of course. This, of course, you've seen before you now with this ambassador or high commissioner is, of course, with the LFL, Laventil for Laventillians. Yes, all of us played our part. Of course, I have been members of all of these organizations and have, of course, put my input or made my input. And you see that it goes beyond the ordinary and what people don't expect these communities to be able to achieve. Attracting, of course, people like that into that community. The government say and the police say that it is crime infested. Look, a letter there from Margaret Thatcher that was sent to me when I was, of course, head of the MLIO, and it was, of course, functioning as it ought to have been, and the government ought to have, even today, been functioning. But we have to come back now and do what the government's supposed to do. And mind you, this time it will not be one where they benefit from our hard work. No, they must get the hell out of office. So at the same time, we will be advocating that they get out of office, whilst we demand that as citizens and as institutions, what institutions that are utilizing our money are there, they must focus as well on our institutions, because we are delivering what they cannot and would like to, however. So it says, subject, invitation to visit Tor East Port of Spain. Yes. And it continues, specifically Nelson, George, and Duncan Streets. Yes. A major objective is hopefully to reduce advisories against our community by your government. That is what we did since the 7th of this month, knowing that we are going to be engaging a physical plant on George Street, a crime hotspot, hotter than a choker as it could ever be. Here we go. Where Rowley and them is. Rowley was with NJAC in 1970, and he lost his first election in Tobago on a PNM ticket. And he continues to lose as a prime minister now in various ways, including, of course, devastatingly in his hometown, Tobago. It must be déjà vu for him. It must be, of course, reminiscent of the days when the PNM itself rejected him in Tobago. Rejected him in Tobago and his people. Let's continue. Excellency, firstly, we wish you and yours all the best for 2024. In addition, I really appreciated our conversation when I visited the High Commission with the Council of Elders Shouter Baptists of Trinidad and Tobago as part of the delegation headed by Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke last year. So once the commissioner reads this, it is familiar territory, because apart from, of course, putting a picture like that to show that we have been engaged, even though it was sometime in the past, but recently, yes, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke and myself have visited for some kind of discussion on the question of the possibility of compensating the spiritual Shouter Baptists for the colonial inspired banning of the worship and the rituals. Our people along the East-West corridor understand that. Hines could boast of that. Rowley could boast of that. Any one of those Africans, far less for the Indians in that party, could boast of it, or Syrian. No. The community saw the problem. The community is at the forefront, and the community will solve the blasted problem. And they have to, of course, get the hell out of office, because we want the resources that is reposed in the treasury. Not all, but because we are deserving to carry on projects like these. Let's continue, of course. The next paragraph says, the MLIO LFL Shouter Baptist Learning Institute's Resource Center, MFSRC, is a collaboration and an agreement among 3 civil society-based grassroots and socio-economically marginalized communities of Port of Spain, East, the Laventils, Movant, Beetham, and Sealots. Our cumulative work for socio-economic and psycho-cultural transformation is unprecedented. Yes, it is. And deliberately reticent to, of course, generate optimum focus in environment classified as high risk as a sociologically defined. High risk. And they know, because they have advisories against Trinidad and Tobago, the British included. So this is just one of the various letters that were sent to various emissaries representing governments in this country. It continues. Appreciation of the multitask and objectives we have undertaken. Indeed, addressing blue-collar crime and criminality in the context of Trinidad and Tobago requires fundamentally a profound understanding of the urban youth and the communities. If sustainable solutions and the transformation are to be achieved. That is the kind of letter we send. Rowley and them can't put that together. Understand that. And I will work for free under a Kamala Prasad Mr. administration, not under Rowley and they. That will pay me handsomely if they want this to be expanded into other communities. To salvage, for me, to salvage their with government. Government, no. They must get the hell out on principle. Suffice it to say that the so-called all of government, Rowley and them, has not brought the successive governments hoped. We respectfully submit that the prerequisite of critically examining the multifaceted nature of this multi-genesis, yes, it comes from different places, multi-genesis phenomenon. In short, sustainable solutions require individual and collective action or actions by the community, for the community, and of the community. Yes, this is a democracy, a similar tone like a democracy. The community saw the problem, and the community will, of course, will damn well treat with the problem. Any external well-meaning intervention, including, of course, state institutions, cannot and will not achieve the social desire or resolution. They can't, because they don't know, they don't understand it. And therefore, it behoves on you and I to save ourselves. And by doing what we are doing, I want to tell those persons who may be penny pinching and don't want, of course, to support what clearly is an initiative designed to save them. You may feel you're living in Caripichaima or you're living in and you're not affected. No. What we are doing there is saving those young people from themselves and you from them. With whatever part of Trinidad and Tobago you reside. Understand that. And therefore your commitment must be one of a genuine nature. And if you can assist with doors and upgrading the electricity and of course putting in air condition and so on, we have already done the major part. We acquired the building. We own it. It is ours. But we do not have the resources to, of course, upgrade it to meet the standard that is required to deliver the training and other programs that we know will, of course, prevent these young people from gravitating to a life of crime, picking up a gun, engaging, of course, in borderline issues and in gangs, and so, of course, wreak havoc by, of course, home invasions, as we saw yesterday. Most despicably, the owner of Caribbean Glass was subjected to a flagellation, a whipping, a beating by a group of home invaders. Young people, the very ones that we want to cut in this program. Understand? So we want you, if you can, call, of course, 336-6594. 336-6594. My assistant will, of course, accommodate and will, of course, be very, very willing to entertain your suggestions as well. And I want to, of course, invite volunteers to come on board. You want to teach something, you have a unique initiative, you are a businessman, you want to teach some business courses, we are going to accommodate. All of us are in this together to save ourselves, to save our children, because bet your bottom dollar, these children will turn to adolescents and then adults. And if they continue, of course, with that criminalistic trajectory, all of us are in trouble in our later days. I don't want to suffer that consequence of working so hard in my younger days for Trinidad and Tobago and brought on by a callous, careless, reckless, brutal regime under a callous, reckless, and brutal man, a total Neanderthal called Keith Christopher Rowley, a rapist and a pedophile. No, that is suicidal. And don't tell me you're leaving the country, because anywhere you go, who knows what awaits you on the other side of what you may consider to be paradise on earth. We must make Trinidad and Tobago once again the paradise on earth and therefore we must put our best foot forward. So you businessmen and you who have, of course, private persons who have a little contribution to make, as we saw, of course, I want to thank the fellow who contributed that microwave. It doesn't have to be new, but he provided a new one. But of course, you may have, of course, desk chairs that you're not using. Please, we want it in order, of course, to facilitate what we want to do. So I've already completed, suffice it to say, and then it cannot, the government cannot do what we can do, and in the timely and real-time fashion. And then it continues, of course, invitation. There's a section called invitation. It is against the above. We invite you and your entourage to visit with us, if only to get an appreciation and different, unique perspective of homegrown community solutions yet to be discovered by officialdom. In other words, the government is at a loss. Officialdom at a loss. $100 million to do what? To give the army that doesn't have the infrastructure to deliver? If I had that, and I had to make that announcement, I would look for all of the organizations that exist, whether on paper or known to the community, and give them that resource to build their capacity administratively and to deliver. That's what you should do. And especially the Baptist churches, the Baptist community that are in every nook and cranny of these very dangerous communities that the police describe as crime-ridden areas along the East-West corridor. That is what you should be doing. You damn fool. You're having that money and giving it to the army for what? To do what? It is the people in the community and those Baptist churches you should be looking for. Not the Catholic. Notice I ain't say that. Not the Pentecostal, not the others. Why? Because these, so that a young man who wants to go to look for a job, or he wants to go to some training, if you provide the church with the money, the church can now make timely intervention and say, listen, come, take this. And they could monitor as well the progress of that young person at the micro level inside of the community. Because it's mainly African communities that are at risk and are engaged. Let's not waste time with that. Rowley has no solution and no clue as to what is happening and what could happen. School improvement program as it paint up the building, but the student population have not increased in terms of let me be in the UK Air Force. And when we saw his potential, I got, of course, Eulali James, who was around at the time, from over. You want to lose that opportunity from Trinidad going into the Air Force of the United Kingdom?
Nice, no, man. It has hurt me.
President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shouter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke, said that the crime situation in this country is worrisome. Speaking in an inclusive interview with TTT News, urged nation's youth to stay on the right track.
I would like to ask the brethren of the faith to stand firm, hold the cross leading. Speak to the children. Too much crime. Trinidad coming like Haiti. But hold that flag. Don't let our national flag bend to the ground.
Burke said that the crime situation in this country is worrisome. Speaking in an inclusive interview with TTT News, Archbishop Burke said she's pleading with the nation's youth to stay on the right track.
I would like to ask the brethren of the faith to stand firm, hold the cross leading. Trinidad coming like Haiti, but hold that flag. Don't let our national flag bend to the ground. Hold it up, prop it up, because we are in Trinidad and in Tobago.
She's also appealing to parents to take their children to church.
There are a lot of parents. The children do not go. My time, every Sunday I go up in the Catholic church, carry the children, let them know about the fear of the Lord. And if we carry our children to church, and our children will be better trained.
Archbishop Burke said she will continue to do her part by Tobago.
I'm pleading with the nation to stop the killing. Stop the killing. We have it nice now. Why the children only killing? No, man. It has hurt me.
President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shouter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke.
To pay his passage to get across there. And today, of course, he's doing well. He's doing well. And that is quite apart from the thousands of young people, over 6,000 of them, that are either in the army, in the police, in PTSD. And one part of the program is to, of course, set up your business. Yes, that's what we did. On our own volition, no government help over the years. But murders would have been worse. Let me repeat, in case you didn't hear. I say that if programs like these, whether it be that under LFL, whether it be that under MLIO, whether it be that of, as Bishop Burke's, of course, Early Child Care Center and school, as well as, of course, the Ark of the Covenant Children's Home, and people like Lister Penny, taking street children off the streets, looking around Kentucky and Port of Spain, begging for $1 and put them in a home and comfort them. But instead, the PNM administration see these people as threats because they simply want to control the people, and because we are independent of thought and action. They don't like that because they want to institutionalize incompetence, impotence, and therefore what they have achieved as a byproduct and heartless criminals. That is what they have done. They themselves being, of course, criminals. People, of course, it's already 15 minutes started. I started this program after the first part, so I'll just conclude the letter and we will end there. We have plenty more to talk about. So, there we have it, invitation. So it is against the above. We invite you and your entourage to visit with us, if only to get an appreciation and the different unique perspective of homegrown community-based solutions yet to be discovered by officialdom, that is by the government. While we recommend a Friday morning, we say Friday morning because you're seeing everything on a Friday morning, preparation for weekend. So I thought it was important. We always do that. Or tour, or we will accommodate or appreciate any other day of the week if preferred. So we leaving that to the chance. As stated, it is hoped that a better appreciation will be observed and a perspective that may lead to aiding our multi-pronged efforts at a socio-economic transformation, using the same for a model that can be used or adjusted for other parts of the country with similar issues. So we're not selfish, but we have to start at home. And we are starting on George Street and that immediate environment, including Nelson Street. And then we will, from the evaluation and from the successes, we will then go further afield on our own. The government must, through the institutions that are set up, whether it be the Ministry of Youth, Education, etc., we are going to tackle those institutions because that is for all of us. The government cannot, the cabinet, and will demand the being served. And if not, well, the UNC has set up what? An institution that, of course, adjudicates on what? On discrimination. We know that. So we are going to, of course, file when and if we are discriminated against because of political biases, fear, and literal jealousy. They can't do it because they can't do it. So we are going to look at that very seriously. We are going to hear more about it. So they cannot touch us with the longest stick. We will take the tails. And of course, we will take them to the Inter-American Committee. We will take them to the United Nations Human Rights Bureau. We will take them, of course, to the International Criminal Court if we have to. We will take them, of course, to Amnesty International, of which I'm a member. And we have plenty resistance. So I think UNC and them have places that they could go to force Rowley and them to do the right thing. And of course, the ultimate, as I said, is for them to get out. That's the ultimate solution. Finally, note, reference attack, that this initiative is not without precedent. As you see, not without precedent. However, emerging out of COVID-19 and the contemporaneous national exacerbation of violence, crime, and criminality, gang warfare, carnage, and the borderline enigma, we believe will provide motivational interest for this outreach initiative. In other words, we saw you are concerned about crime and criminality because that is what is in your advisories, your government's advisories, and then come and see and understand, and you may have a different perspective and reduce those advisories. Why? Because it means that every new businessman comes to Trinidad and set up shop here, the potential for a person from Laventille getting a job is increased, as opposed to, as is the case now, Rowley and they scaring, generating phobia among potential investors for direct investment in Trinidad. But every time an investor comes, you may not get the job from that area, but the potential is here because there are more jobs available so that our young people can get a job, and a job that is option, and being able to, of course, live and provide food for their potential or real family, whether it's their own or one that they would have grown up in. So that's the end, people. Expecting your security, and I think the British got one. We had to pick him up. They had to pick him up at the embassy or the High Commission and then escort him to, of course, Eastport of Spain for obvious reasons, because we are not naive. But of course, they would want to be cautious. So we put all the mechanisms in place to make sure that they come and visit and see for themselves what is happening there. A scary situation. If you ask the government, Rowley wouldn't come. Heinz Freyd, and he's National Security Minister, when he comes, he had details and people and police officer lurking and of course hidden all over the place. Just shot is directed at him. After all, he's a fella that was run out of Beetham under some heavy, dirty water. People, we have come to the end of tonight's exercise. I want to tell the business to be in delivering what we say we will. And of course, you will be abreast because we have social media, TV6. This is not Rowley and them. And of course, a gimmickry that of course Rowley and they have been engaged in for the last 9 years. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. And as I said, education is the objective. Yes, indeed.
Our national flag bend to the ground, hold up, prop it up, because we are.
She's also appealing to parents to take their children to church.
There are a lot of parents. Every Sunday I go up in the fear of the Lord. Stop the killing. Stop the killing. We have it nice now. Why the children only killing? No, man. It has hurt me.
President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shouter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke, said that the crime situation in this country is worrisome.
Faith to stand firm.
Don't forget, of course, tomorrow morning.
Hold the cross.
The ground report, Andy, Mike, and myself, of course. Andy is still in Sabbatal mood. But of course, Mike and I will be at your service. And tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is what, Friday?
But
no. Program tomorrow night.
Don't let our
we will, of course,
national flag
return
bend to the ground. Hold it up.
On Saturday.
Prop it up.
Carnival Sunday.
We are
Carnival
in
Monday.
Trinidad and
Carnival Tuesday.
She's
and
also
Wednesday.
appealing to parents
I
to
will
take
be
their children
with
to
you.
church.
there are
have
a
a
lot
country
of
to save.
parents. The children do not go to church in my time. Every Sunday I go up in the Catholic church, carry the children and they know about the fear of the Lord. And if we carry our children to church, and our children will be there to church.
Archbishop Burke said she will continue to do her part by praying for the children of Trinidad and Tobago.
News now. I am pleading with the nation to stop the killing. The words of President of the Council of Elders, Spiritual Shouter Baptist Faith, Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke. On this report.
Too much shooting, too much deaths, too much death. I'm pleading with the nation to stop the killing. We have it nice now. Why the children only killing to ask the brethren of the faith to stand firm? Because bleeding. Speak to the children. Too much crime. Trinidad coming like Haiti. But hold that flag. Don't let our national flag bend to the ground. Hold it up. Prop it up. Because we are in Trinidad and Tobago.
Also appealing to parents to take their children to church.
There are a lot of parents. The children do not go to church in my time. Every Sunday I go up in the Catholic church, carry the children, and our children will be going to church.
Archbishop Burke said she will continue to do her part by praying for the children.
Too much shooting, too much deaths, too much death. I'm pleading with the nation to stop.